Good Tuesday morning. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness. It's powered by the Yes Team Realtors, Keith and Yonna Smith, trusted advisors of the game, Keith and Yonna Smith. The show airs Tuesdays and Fridays at 10:15 in the morning on the I Love CVille Network. Judah Wickower, Keith Smith and I. Why don't we go with the studio camera first? The distinguished gentleman and I, 7 feet, 4 inches apart from each other. Important to emphasize that.
It is.
Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good. For those who didn't know, the pre-air banter was about that shirt. I actually like it.
Brooks Brothers. You like Banana Republic.
Yeah, I like whatever I can get cheap.
There you go. Right. We like a deal. You're in the right business.
I like a deal. So today, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Just kind of, my hope today is just to do kind of a little bit of a Keith and Jerry show, a little Batman and Robin, and
love it.
Kind of see which way it goes and talk about the market. But I kind of wanted to start off because, I think I mentioned this on the show a couple of different times. I had my mother over for dinner the other day, and she keeps on asking me, what do I do for a living? So.
And you said, Mom, we have this conversation every 6 months. You know what I do.
No, it's...
What, every quarter?
Yeah, no, probably weekend.
You make dreams come true.
Okay, there you go.
You make dreams come
I have
true.
to be careful, I tell that to my mother.
Is that Mrs. Smith?
That is my mother, Mrs. Smith.
Does she watch the show?
They watch it after. They're not Facebook fans, so
okay.
They watch. Actually, today is their, let me see, 58th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah,
58.
58 years together.
Good. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What's the secret to 58 with your parents, do you think?
I don't know, but I'm assuming it's the same as what it's been for 35.
For you and Yonna?
Yeah.
And what's that?
Oh, well.
Just listen to your wife and do whatever she says?
No, all serious aside. Marry somebody who makes you a better person every day.
There you go.
That's it. And
she does that.
I know my wife does. Every morning I wake up, she makes me a better person.
I love it.
So, to answer my mother's question, we talk about trusted advisors all the time, and I know there's a bunch of real estate agents possibly watching today. So, why do you need a trusted advisor? Why do you need a realtor to do that? And basically, there's literally a document that the Orlando Realtors Association put out, and it's actually 230 steps or possible steps, and we won't go through all 230 today, but, and I'll put it in the feed sometimes, pretty interesting stuff on it, but, the number one thing that we do is we navigate the process, right?
Right.
The process is not the same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It surely wasn't the same process as 30 years ago. The process is very much so, it's quite complicated, and you need a trusted advisor to help you navigate it. And then, something that is often overlooked, and I had a client this morning thank me for this, there's a ton of negotiations that have to go on in this process.
Right.
And everything from the front end and at the home inspection and sometimes at the back end. So, we bring a lot of negotiation chops to the table.
Sure.
If you're negotiating for yourself, sometimes that's not a good position.
Yeah, because you let emotions come into play.
And
the next thing you know, you're responding on anger without thinking, and then the deal goes kaput.
Something like that. So
happens all the time.
It does happen all the time. What's the saying about lawyers, right? If a lawyer represents themselves like a fool for a client,
right?
Something like that.
What do you say? What negotiation tactics, strategies?
Oh, I love that subject.
Yeah, talk to me. So do I.
Well,
I learn from you.
Well, but
he who speaks first loses.
Not necessarily.
No. That's one that's out there.
I know, but I'm not so I subscribe to that.
Okay.
You got to start the conversation somewhere.
Sure.
But always negotiate from a position of strength. So if you're in a position of strength, then you can open up your mouth first.
Sure.
If you're not in a position of strength, then you kind of want to keep your mouth shut
and see where the deal goes.
See where the deal goes. But there's all kinds of different negotiations that go on and different tactics. One of my favorite is the takeaway, right? But that's a really, anything like the takeaway, you got to be prepared to walk away. And
the takeaway?
You don't know what the takeaway
Tell me
is?
about the takeaway.
I'm done. I'm walking
Tell
off.
me the takeaway.
I'm walking away from the table.
Come on,
I'm
Batman.
done. I'm done.
Robin wants to learn, bro.
Yeah, Robin wants to learn. We need to get you a little suit and everything.
Yeah, the mask over the eyes.
No, so a tactic, and I would not encourage using this unless you absolutely have to.
Okay.
But this is kind of the nuclear negotiating tool. You do the takeaway, right? So I'm negotiating with you. We hit a ceiling, blah, 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 whatever it might be. And you say, okay, I'm done. I'm walking away from the
Okay,
table.
yeah, I mean, I
Right.
do that.
So
Yeah,
that's
I didn't
called
know that's called a takeaway.
It's called the takeaway. So I'm
Okay.
taking
Yeah.
my offer, I'm taking my toys,
Yeah.
and I'm leaving.
How many times have you done the takeaway bluffing with the takeaway?
So that's the trick about the takeaway. You can't bluff. You
Right.
gotta-
Whoa, you can do the takeaway
No,
and
no,
bluff.
no,
The
no,
problem
no.
if you do the
No.
takeaway and bluff and you get called on it, then you're screwed.
Well-
and you get stung.
Never do the takeaway unless you're prepared to lose.
So when you're doing the takeaway, you're like,
This is it.
this, and it could go bad. And if
then
it happens, it happens.
Then I'm okay with it.
Okay.
No, you never bluff the takeaway, Mark.
Never bluff the takeaway.
Never.
Don't bluff the takeaway.
No, man. That's like showing up to a knife fight and not having a knife.
That's not good.
That is not good.
That's not good. Give me another strategy you use.
To me, the best thing in negotiating is to understand the other side.
And
right?
what they want.
And what they want.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Right.
And
Because if you could figure out what they want, then you can get what you want.
well, so a good deal is everybody win-win, the whole win-win.
My dad always told me a good deal was when both parties left the negotiation table feeling a little pissed off.
Pissed off's a strong word. but you're right. If everybody loses a little bit, then everybody wins a
That's
little
what he
bit.
meant.
Yeah. So, everybody has to give and take, and it's a two-way thing, right? And if the other side doesn't want to play, then we move on. But anyway, and then the last item, so I didn't want to get too far into that, so.
Your beautiful 7/8 says, one of my go-to negotiation strategies, Yonna Smith, the fabulous Yes Team Realtors, is listen before you talk.
Never been accused of that.
Why'd you get that chuckle there, Keith? As she's saying, Keith.
Okay, can we go on to the next subject?
Yes,
please?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've never been accused of. I'm getting better at it. My listening skills surely needs to be improved. But she's 100% right. You got to listen. You got to understand. You got to understand both sides, right? You got to understand what your client is trying to achieve, right? And then you got to understand kind of what the other side's trying to achieve.
Sure.
And the exciting part about the reason I love doing it, because we never really communicate with the seller or the buyer.
Sure.
I'm communicating with you, the agent on the
Right.
other side. So it's a lot of fun. It's all about relationships and stuff that we love, dearly on it. So as you can tell, negotiating is my favorite part of it.
It's one of my favorite things to do as well. I love it. I love it.
Well, it's when everybody wins, it's a good feeling.
Sure.
And then we're going to talk a little bit on the back end, but one of the things that we do better than Zillow, and we meaning realtors and real estate agents, better than Zillow, better than Trulia, better than all this computer algorithms. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Is price your home competitively.
Right.
A computer isn't going to really know
Sure.
what's going on. It'll get you in
They'll give you a range.
It'll get you in some sort of ballpark
Right.
range on it. But, every street's different, every home's different, every, person's needs are different, and it reflects on the price. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, because even though this is technically a seller's market, pricing a house competitively makes a big difference, and we'll have some slides to talk about it. But I kind of wanted to start off with that and then read a quick little quote. You're a Dave Ramsey guy, right?
Yeah, love Dave
Right.
Ramsey.
So when you're getting help with money, whether it's insurance, real estate, or investments, you should always look for somebody with the heart of a teacher, not a salesperson. And that's what Yonna and I do, and that's what all these other real estate agents who may be watching right now do. We actually take the role as a teacher, right? Because we have to help our client get through this, because the process, as we just said, is so complicated now. You have to educate. I've done it 3 times before this morning with some clients that we're working with, that we had to re-educate. Okay, this is how this is happening. This is why this is happening. and so forth and so on. But I kind of wanted to start that. Any questions on that?
You have a lot of agents watching.
Okay.
A lot of agents watching. We'll highlight a few. In fact, let's highlight some people that said good morning. Kathy Joseph, hello. Welcome to the program. Amy Whalen says good morning, everybody. I want to acknowledge the fabulous Gary Grant, a phenomenal steward of the community. Gary Grant, hello. Ben D'Alessandro, hello. Vaba. Mason Mallow, hello. 4 firms in the area watching your program here. An interesting topic off air we were discussing was the position we're in this market with a pinch of inventory and why we're in this pinch.
Sure. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. You know, if you're thinking of selling your home, now might be the right time to do that. So, you know, and I've been kind of racking my brain why this inventory is the way it is. And
so we should start there. What's the conditions of the market?
So right now,
yeah,
there's no inventory.
Right. So no inventory for folks new to the show. Very few homes for sale.
Very few homes for sale.
Yeah.
And it's very price specific too, by the way. You know, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about jumbo loans being at 509.
Yeah.
So I think and I didn't prepare any market data for today, but if you take a look at everything, somewhere between the 0 and the 500,000 mark, you're not seeing a lot of negotiating in price. When you get a little over 5, that 509, you may start seeing it. I mean, you may not. You know, it's very specific in it, but it's pretty interesting that 0 to $500,000 mark is really moving because all of a sudden now jumbo's loan is not in place. So for those who don't know what jumbo is, it's 501 loan. It's a 509 loan, right? So if you're buying a house for over 509, and you want to borrow 100% of it, then you're in jumbo. That's why you see mostly in the 500 plus
20% down
or 10%
yeah.
or 5%.
To get out of that class.
To get out of that
yeah.
class and potential PMI.
Right. And the PMI on something like that is substantial.
It could be. I couldn't quote the number.
Yeah.
But it's money, for lack of a better.
Right.
But when you start getting in the $200,000-$400,000 range, that's when you have these other products available, like we talked about on the show the other day, like USDA loans that are 0 down.
Sure.
You know, you can still do VA loans in the upper market, but you're going to have to put some money in it to bring it down. So I if you can put on slide number 1, Judah, please. So it's an interesting stat. So this NAR put this out the other day, and I captured it, and I really didn't look at it until yesterday when we were chatting on air.
Uh-huh.
The average length of homeowners staying at a home has pretty much doubled since the 80s. So somewhere between 87 and 2008, the average was around 6 years. So that was the average person stayed in their home for 6 years. And then it started going up in 2008, 9, 10, 11, right? And now we're up to 10 years. So it's not quite double, but awfully close. So, as I'm looking at this, people are staying double in their house. Okay, I got it. So that means product isn't coming on.
Sure.
Right? People are staying in their homes a little bit longer. And then, of course, with the historic low interest rates, soon to be below 3%.
You're going to say the refi piece.
Excuse me?
You're going to say the refinance piece.
Well, the whole refinance piece is a whole show in itself.
Sure.
But why inventory is so low, I think is 3 things, right? People are staying in their homes a little bit longer. And we've got a spreadsheet here to talk about this. Builders are not producing like they used to, right? So back in 08 and 4 and 5, they were producing about 2 million units a year, round numbers. Now they're around 1 million, 1.1 million, 1.2 million. So there's like 1 million units short. And if you follow some of the National Association of Realtors, that they're saying, excuse me, Freddie Mac, apologize. They're saying we're about 3.3 million units homes nationwide short.
Wow.
And then,
So to put that in perspective for everybody, I have some data from U.S. Census.
Yep.
So that way I'm not speaking out of turn.
Sure.
The population of America, we said was 328 million.
Yep.
So population of America, 328 million.
Mm-hmm.
This is according to the U.S. Census, Keith. People under 18 years old 22.3%.
That's going to come important when we talk about the generational report. Go ahead.
Yeah. So United States under 22.3%. So I'm going to take this off the screen.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to go to the calculator so we can do some calculations. So we said 328 million.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Times 0.23, my friend, is times 22.3 times 22.3, 0.223. So that's 73 million. We just call it an even 73 that we subtract. So 328, 328 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it was 73.
Nobody said there was going to be math on this.
Minus 73.
Yeah.
So that takes out people that we know are not going to buy homes because they're under 18. So that leaves us with 255 million.
Mm-hmm.
And of those 255 million, we don't know this information. We can get to this point. Of those 255 million, it's safe to say that they're not all going to be home buyers or in the game of new construction. That's safe to say. So when you say we're 3 million homes short, you're talking
3.3.
3.3. You're talking like close to 2% just with that. And then you throw in the other factors of the people staying sticky in their homes, and then your third element, and you can see why we're in a pinch.
Correct. So again, to quote the chief economist from Freddie Mac, according to him, we're basically increasing the shortage by 300,000 units per year. So it's just not getting better.
Right.
Right. So we got folks staying in their houses longer. We got 3% interest rate. We have builders not producing inventory homes.
Right.
And it's just, and until I kind of map this out and draw it out on a diagram, that's why we're in my humble opinion. I'm not an economist by any stretch of the imagination, but that's part of what's going on here. That's why things are so tight. And when we get a little further into the show, we'll talk a little bit about the buyer profiles and what they want to see in it. I think it's going to make the inventory even tighter because COVID-19 has changed what folks want to see in their homes. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But to me, today's thing was Keith and Jerry having a cup of coffee. I had an aha moment adding these things up. And
what can we do about this?
So
here's what the Fed's doing. The Fed is keeping interest rates at generationally low.
I can't say that. I got to be honest, that scares the hell out of me.
Which part?
That the Fed's keeping rates low.
Yeah, it should scare everybody. They're trying to do it to stimulate the economy, get people back into home ownership, but that scares the hell out of me. Why does it scare you?
Well, why it scares me is that we're I'll ask you this question. What do you think? Do you think 3 to 4% is a normal?
No, it's obscene.
Yeah.
It's no one can make money on the supply chain at 3 to 4%.
So if the average buyer, particularly a millennial, is thinking 3 to 4% is normal, it's not. It's
right.
6 to 8%.
And then normal. What happens when we do get to an interest rate that's like 6%? My first property when I got it, yours was 18. My first property I got when I was 24 was 6 1/8.
Yeah, which is normal.
Right. I was happy.
Yeah, I was happy at 18.
I know, right.
But yeah, so it's an interesting thing. I don't have an answer to it, right? This is just two guys spitballing over a cup of coffee. But I think, and what I'm hoping is some really smart people chime in some of their thoughts online. I think when we start climbing up in the 4, 5, 6% range, because it's got to go up.
Right.
It's not going to go down.
No, it can't.
I mean, it's not sustainable. I think what might happen, and this is and I'm an optimistic guy, I think it might add a little bit more balance in the marketplace. But it's pretty. Because we get access all the time, particularly with young home buyers. When they're losing 4 or 5 or 10 or 12
of property
contracts, right? We can't get them because
all cash deals?
It's everything across the board. All cash deals. They didn't like their financing package.
Someone came in and outbid them.
Yeah, and outbid them. But the funny thing is at least we're not seeing it. Maybe other folks can chime in. We're not seeing these outrageous
Bidding wars?
Bidding wars that you did see back in, 04, 05, 06, 07.
You saw some outrageous bidding wars even in the beginning of 2020.
Yeah,
before COVID.
I think you need to define outrageous,
Okay,
right?
okay.
If it's within the normal appreciation ranges, right? Then I think you're okay. But because the reality, I think what's really controlling the bidding war is the process. We talked about this, navigating the process is very different than it was in 2004, 5, 6, and then 8 and 9 it started changing. Unless it's cash, it takes 3 people, 3 entities to buy a house.
Buyer, seller, and the bank.
Like, very much so.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the appraiser.
Yeah.
Right. And it's something we should talk about because when I explain this to buyers that they don't, and sellers, they don't quite understand this. So
You're talking about the appraisal piece.
that's exactly right.
Yeah. Right.
Stop it.
Right.
Stop
because
finishing my
you know
sentences.
why? You know why? It's because it's not common sense. And if someone says, I am going to pay X amount of dollars for the house, this person thinks that they are setting the market for that purchase, but it doesn't work that way. If the appraiser comes in and says, what are you doing? This is $15K over value. Why would we give you this loan when the house is the collateral, and if you default, then we're $15K underwater? I mean, but it takes a while to comprehend that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the process has changed drastically. Okay. So, but to finish that train of thought, you're right. One would think
that they're setting the market.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
One would think if I got a ready, willing, and able buyer, a ready and willing, able seller, and the guy's putting 20% down.
He's qualified.
He's qualified.
He can pay for it.
He's a doctor.
Yeah,
whatever.
Right.
You would think that's the market, but it doesn't quite work that way. And so what happened in the insane years, right?
Yeah.
The bubble, the years where the bubble was going.
6, 7 into 8, 2008.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Kind of started there. So what would happen there, and I'm paraphrasing this, is that the lender would have a couple of go-to appraisers, right? So the lender was capable of communicating with the appraiser, so forth and so on. The bubble pops. Federal regulators step in and say no. So there's a pool process. There's some differences, depending on the amount of money you want to put down and all that. But in general terms, there's a pool process. So we're representing you to buy a house, and you're working with Scott and a loan officer, right? So what happens is Scott can't talk, or the loan officer can't talk to the appraiser. Actually, the entity that really can do it is the real estate agent.
Sure.
So what happens is it goes into a pool, and they pick out an appraiser out of a pool. So there's a pool process. So sometimes, and we've recently had this happen, sometimes you get one from Harrisonburg, you get one from Richmond, right? You might get one from Charlottesville because, the pool is kind of deep. And then the valuations go up and down.
Right. How does a guy that lives in Richmond appraise a micro market in Charlottesville?
Well, he should be able to do that because it's really
just based on comps.
It's data, comps, and
price
all
per
that.
square.
That's exactly right. But we had a situation. I think I mentioned this on the show once before with our daughter. We helped our daughter up in Connecticut, and
you told me this.
Had 2 different appraisals, and it was a $50,000 delta between. Actually, it was a $100,000 swing between one was 50 grand under, one was 50 grand over, and it was because. One came from a much further distance than the local town. So, most buyers and sellers don't understand that. So now this process back to navigation, right? So Yonna and I and all the realtors that watch this that I know are good, we kind of do not that we do the appraiser's work for them, but we make sure the appraiser has their package. So if we're representing you on the seller or the buy on either side, we make sure whatever special features are in that house, things that you've added to it, things that are not obvious, we put a little package together and we say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Miss
Here's the added value.
Just here's a little helpful. We're not trying to tell you how you do your job. Sure. Just want to provide you with some information. And I will tell you 99.99% of the time they're super thankful for it. And you go ahead and do that. But I didn't want to get too much in the weed on that.
That was great. That was great.
But it's important to know that it takes 3 entities to buy a house, and
We'll thank Patsy Strong for watching. Andre
Hey, Patsy.
Xavier, hello. Mark, hello. Grammy Ward, hello. Caitlin Mancini, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey,
Thank you
Caitlin.
very much for joining us. Give the
Congratulations,
show-
Caitlin, on that sale, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that, Caitlin. Congratulations.
And she's got another one at the lake, which is super priced.
Yeah? What's the price?
Caitlin would tell you. You would have to ask
Yeah,
her.
I think she put it on the feed last
Two
time.
I don't want to quote the wrong number.
Give us some details on that listing you have at the lake, Caitlin. We'll give it a little...
I got to tell you, the red cabinet's caught my eye, though.
The red cabin?
It's got red cabinets.
Really?
Yeah, actually looks pretty cool.
Cool.
I
Cool.
liked it.
We'll give some love to Scott Morris in Dairy Market, Keith
sure.
Smith.
Yeah, so, Scott was on the phone with me at 7 o'clock this morning, so he got his love already. And we're looking forward to bringing in Jody and Chris when we can get them in here and talk about what they're doing at Dairy Market. I actually drove by there the other
Looks
day.
great.
It's freaking awesome.
Right?
They did a I think they did a drive-in movie.
They did.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go there. Did you know how it turned out?
Has it happened yet?
It may not have happened.
I don't
yet.
think it's happened
It may
yet.
not have happened.
I mean, it looks absolutely phenomenal. How do you think that's going to impact that 10th and Page area?
Well, so it depends on who you talk to, right? Okay. So I think it's going to impact it in a super positive way. So some folks maybe not so much, but yeah, I mean it's exactly what I think is needed in that area,
yeah.
And I wish them all the luck in the world. And these guys are really sharp at what they do, and they don't make any mistakes. So it's going to be done first class, and I'm looking forward to getting in there. I think they're working on the apartment complex as we speak.
Yeah, the restaurant's close to opening. Chris
Yeah.
Henry and the team at Dairy Market, we can't wait to see what you do with the food hall, with the new Star Hill tap room, with the office space, and the positive impact you're going to have on the community, especially in the heart of Charlottesville. Welcome Real Estate 3 to the broadcast, and
Hey.
Nest Realty now
Hey.
watching the show. So we're talking about Patsy Strong and every other agent watching here about the pinch at inventory.
By the way, thank you, Patsy, for watching.
Yeah, Patsy's great.
Patsy's a class agent,
Right.
class person.
A superstar legend in this game, right?
I would say so.
Yeah, I would totally say so.
I'm honored, actually.
We're talking about the pinch of inventory and how it's impacting the market. Let me throw this to you. So is there anything that can happen from an associate, and I've asked you this in the past, is there anything that can happen from an association standpoint, local, state, or national, that would encourage inventory in some capacity to be put on the market, a marketing campaign, anything like this? And just before you go down this road, this is going to make your day. Are you ready for this?
I don't know, but you're chasing me down a rabbit hole. I can
Patsy
see it.
says,
Yeah.
I absolutely love your show, Keith.
Oh, thank you.
Literally, just put it on the feed.
Thank you. She's flat out class lady.
Yeah. I mean, for something like Patsy watching here, it says something.
Yeah. Now you're going to make me tear up, Patsy. Thanks. Now I got to be smart.
You can't hold him accountable, Patsy. Hold him accountable. She will.
Oh, that's what I love about that. She'll say, "Smith, you're crossing the line." I'll go, "Yes, ma'am," and I'll fix it. Yeah. So finish asking the question, because I think you're trying to put me in hot water here.
Well, I'm just curious. So we have historically low interest rates.
Sure.
We have a seller's market. Okay, historically low interest rates for a buyer, a seller's market for someone who owns a home to have consumer confidence.
Sure.
It seems to me that this is a marketing dilemma as a guy who owns an advertising agency. If there's a campaign, maybe it's national, Commonwealth-wide, Central Virginia-wide, I'll stop.
Yeah. So NAR's doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where I'm getting a lot of this data from.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. They're doing a national campaign. But, at the end of the day, Patsy and all the other, Caitlin and everybody else that's on this feed, we're independent business folks, right? So, we control this narrative. It's why I'm sitting here talking to you, right? We control this narrative. And
You're saying it's up to you.
well, they offer assistance, right? And CAR does that. As you know, I'm on the CAR board, and they offer assistance, and the brokerages surely do that, right? Michael Guthrie offers us guidance and how we can move forward, along with Vincent and the folks there. But all the other brokers offer their particular agents in that. So it's a little bit unique. So this is not like Pitney Bowes, right? big, huge corporation where the company is kind of marketing and doing this stuff. You have all these small little associations or large associations and these independent contractors, because that's what we are.
Sure.
Promoting that. So but we get some great data from them on that stuff. But, at the end of the day, the market is what's going to determine this. Not you, not me, not the folks watching this.
Sure.
It's
a living, breathing entity. It's the market.
Yeah, but I am concerned about interest rates being too low.
What do you think, Patsy, of interest rates being too low? We're curious of your take on that, Patsy Strong. Interest rates being too low and the impact it's going to have. Did you give the data that you had on the new construction? Can we dig into that? Because that new construction, the new units, dude, you blew my mind with that.
Okay. I'm sorry. I did that.
It was great.
Yeah. So what we're talking about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is the Census Bureau puts out, it's a pretty simple one sheet. Basically, it's an annual data on the number of units that are built. So, it does break down with 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, that kind of thing. But just overall units, and it goes from 1968. In this case, it goes to 2019, and then I have as of June 2020 numbers. But we are, as of in 19, the new construction folks produced 1.25, roughly 1.3 million units. So the last time that happened was in 2007.
That's wow.
So, and then if you were to take a look at what we're looking at here, when you start looking at basically 2001 through 2007, we were doing roughly 1.6, 1.8. Two
serious units.
1, 2, 3 years in a row, 2 million, excuse me, and then we dropped off drastically. Obviously, 2009 it went down to 700,000.
That's at the crash. 2009, the recession.
Correct. The lowest year was 11. That was 500,000.
So to put this in perspective, this is new construction in America.
Correct.
New inventory, new construction by units in America. In 2006, ladies and gentlemen. And Keith, the distinguished gentleman, has provided this data. This is why I learned from him. In 2006, in America, there was 1,979,000 new units constructed across America. That's 2006, almost 2 million units. In 2011, it dropped to 584,000.
So that's why this 3.3 million makes sense.
Oh, totally.
Right? So if you are...
And it lags.
Correct. It's a lagging indicator.
It's a lagging indicator.
That's exactly right. But if you take a look at this chart, basically from 1968 to 2000, and I'm not going to repeat them, but they're generally 1.3, 1.7.
Like 1.6.
72, 73 was 2 million.
Yeah.
So you're ranging, I think if we were to put that together in a spreadsheet and do an average, let's say it's 1.5. Just to pick a number.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
So that's where they're coming up with the 300,000 short. Right? So we're at 1.2, rough numbers, 1.5 is average. And that doesn't include, and then the fact that folks are staying in their houses double the length of time, new construction, not keeping up with demand, folks staying in the house, and the 3% interest rate, in my opinion, for what it's worth, is kind of what's caused this
pinch.
This pinch, yeah. But how we fix it, I think we talk about it. I think we do what we're doing. I think interest rates going up might kind of loosen things up a little bit on the inventory side. Again, a lot of smart people watching this, so they may have a different opinion. I'd love to hear it. But
can I throw this aspect into it? If you're a mass production, new construction home builder, say in our market, which we know really well,
sure.
Say that's in Albemarle County.
I know where you're going.
Okay, and on top of that, the land's so expensive.
Sure.
And they know that the primary buying base is millennials. And you said the millennial was what, 40% of the buying base?
Actually, we're going to talk about that here. I got actual stats for you here.
So the new construction mass-produced developer, the Ryan Homes of the world, what do they do here? The dirt's expensive. And
time.
Time, okay.
Time, right?
Yeah.
It takes anywhere between 3 to 6 years to get a project approved. Excuse
Right.
me while I'm trying to find my stats here. Don't want to misquote anything here. So, you know, it's a huge restriction. What did I do with that? This is live TV, guys. Here we go. So, generational. We were talking about this earlier, and we repetitively did this. 2 years running. 38% of the buyers were younger millennials or older millennials. So that's basically between 22 and 39, made up 38% of the buyer profile. So you were quoting some numbers before, right? So that's kind of where that's at. And then the Gen Xers, which is your 40 to 54, is another 23. So you're roughly 60% rounded up.
60% of the buying population is what age and under? 40 and under?
40 and under.
Okay. So
54 and under.
Okay. So we'll say.
But 38% is a huge number.
38% is
that's
ginormous.
millennial.
That's millennials.
And that's where this market is going.
And the millennials, what, a 450 buyer and under? And 450 is probably top, depending on the not. I can't broad stroke all millennials.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit too broad stroke.
Okay, so what do you think it is? What do you think for the millennial?
I just think the average purchase price is probably somewhere between in our market, somewhere between 250 and 350. It's first time home buyer,
sure,
that kind of stuff getting into the market.
So how does a mass production builder do a 250 to 350 home in Albemarle County when the dirt's that expensive?
You don't.
You can't.
That's exactly right.
So that's another reason why we may have this new construction pinch micro-wise.
Correct, yeah. So that's why
I learned from you.
Drive to qualify, right?
You hate that phrase.
I do, but
it's
unfortunately it works.
Yeah, right.
The reality of it is that's why these production guys are moving out.
To Waynesboro, to Green, to Fluvanna.
We've got a project in Fluvanna County. There's a couple of projects in Fluvanna County coming online that's going to be in this kind of sweet spot of this price range on that kind of stuff. And, Patsy would know a lot about that.
This creates an affordable housing crunch of epic proportions.
Yeah, well, that's my passion.
It is.
So, and I as soon as I finish this interview or this show, I got to go to a board meeting to try to figure out how we can raise some capital. Free money is nice, guys. Raise some capital so we can acquire some land, because the land trust competes with every other developer trying to acquire a thing. So, but it's just a couple of wrap around some statistical stuff, and I kind of want to go into what people are wanting to buy based on some stats. Can we go there a little bit?
Sure. Yeah.
So. Both these set of numbers are 2 years running, 19 and 20. So we're looking between 22 and 45. So 22 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 54, excuse me. Anywhere between 51 to 53% of the buyers wanted suburban.
So half the buyers.
More than half.
More than half the buyers. Is that a slide we could show?
I didn't. Okay.
I didn't
do that.
Half the buyers want suburban life.
Yeah, so you have suburban, small town, urban, rural, and resort. So NAR's really good at this stuff. This is one of the great things NAR does, amongst other things.
National Association of Realtors.
Thank you. And so they're really great at their statistical end of stuff, and you and I love this stuff anyway. So over 50% of the buyers ranging from 22 to 54 wanted to live in a suburban subdivision. Lake Monticello.
And when was that data accumulated? What's the data range, the time set for that data?
So that's from 2000, and actually from 2007. So 2019 was June 2017 to June 2018. Gave me my 19 numbers.
Okay.
20 is 19. So we don't actually have 2020 numbers in yet.
So that number is going to increase.
That number's good
because of COVID.
Absolutely. So that's the whole point about this, is these numbers we're talking about 24 to 30 months in the lag, and they were already there.
Right.
So this is not a new thing. This COVID thing, this moving out, it's been coming along on that. So I do have a slide that I did prepare, and I apologize. I should have prepared that slide. Can I get slide 3, Judah? Please.
Absolutely. Slide 3 is on screen.
There you go. So this is, again, from NAR, right? So clients have changed what their features are, what's important to them.
Okay.
And it's pretty interesting. So 24% want a home office. This is all post-COVID. So this is how does COVID-19 impacted your selection from a buyer? And the reason it's important because we're talking about sellers today. Cool, thank you.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about sellers today, right? So if you want to make your home marketable, right? Again, it's a seller's. If you had a certain price point, it's pretty much a seller's market. But maybe if you want to make yourself positioned a little bit better, well, if 24% of the buyers want a home office,
You better get a home office, right?
or at least set yourself up one.
Right. At least make it look like there could be
Look
a home
at,
office.
yeah. No rotary phone.
Right. Right.
You know what that is, right?
No, I do know
You
what
put your
that
finger
is.
in and you go like that?
I do know what that
Okay,
is.
got
Do you
it.
have to say this stuff to folks?
Do I have a rotary home?
No, do you have to say this stuff to folks when you're taking their home? You're
Yeah,
like,
sure.
it's not intuitive.
Well, we talked about this earlier, right? What was the quote from Ramsey? What are we actually? Teachers.
Right.
And how do you teach? You reinforce, right? Reinforce. We're not salespeople, right? We're teachers. We're trying to educate the buyer, educate the seller, and then we've become. I talk about this all the time. My father, grandfather, great-grandfather, all New York City firemen. I was the first male not to be a New York City fireman. But at the end of the day, with this process, we kind of put fires out.
Yeah, you put fires out.
We put fires out.
It's the same
all
strategies in a lot of ways.
It's just
Problem solving.
problem solving. But so the two top items was an office and a little space, right? So if we go back to 50-something% of the home buyers, these millennials, and I say that with love and respect,
Yeah.
not in a negative way
course.
at all. 38% of them, 50% of the buyers are out in a place where they can get a little elbow room. And another
That epitomized, we made a transaction, as you know, in March. That epitomized everything my wife said.
that's exactly what she wanted.
Almost to a T.
And she's like 20, right?
She is 32. She said,
She's trying to throw you a bone there.
she is 20. She's 20 years old. She said, what did she say? I want plenty of room in the backyard
Sure.
because we have a kid. I want to be able to walk around the neighborhood and meet other moms because I work from home. And I want to be able to, because of COVID, potentially stay in my house for days upon time and not lose my mind.
And how's it going?
It's going well.
On
Right?
IKEA.
With a 2-year-old, you know what that's like?
It's yeah. Well,
He's coming out of it, though.
yes. So, well, we'll save that for another show. We'll talk about that. But as you know, I have a 1.5-year-old grandson. So we've
Well,
recently
and you separated your daughters by, was it 4 years?
8.
8 years. And that's because numero uno,
Was so awesome.
that was so awesome. Well, you handled that well, dude. She was so awesome.
I think she's watching. That's the reason why I said
really
that.
is awesome.
It was so awesome.
She is the best.
And then we realized, we better try another one. Maybe
8
not,
years
not
later.
so much so awesome. Yeah.
Patsy says to Keith, interest rates are going to remain low as long as we need to stimulate the economy. I don't foresee them changing anytime soon.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I hope she's right. I really do. I really do.
Your friend Ray Cadell says hello.
Hey, Ray, how's it going, man? I do miss him. I miss watching him live, and hopefully we get back there soon to go ahead and do that. So, type of homes purchased. I don't have a slide for this, but this is again off of this generational report that NAR's done. Again, 2 years running. So maybe we'll do a little quiz here.
Okay.
So
I like quizzes.
20 within 5 percentage points.
Okay.
Between 22 and 29, you have detached, townhomes, apartments, duplexes. What percentage do you think is the largest?
Between ages 22
And 29.
and 29, this is the age range.
Detached.
Single family
town-
detached.
Single family attached, which is townhomes.
Yeah.
Apartments or condos or duplexes, which is kind of attached
So the
to.
apartment is the rental.
No, so it's a condo.
Okay,
you
so
can, you can buy
condo.
a condo.
Okay,
And
because
some-
I see the condo as owned and the apartment as rented.
Except in certain jurisdictions, like in New York, apartments you can buy.
Understood. In Virginia, though,
In Virginia.
Apartment
so this
is
is a
normally
national. This is a
Okay.
national number.
I would say, wow. And the question you're asking me in that age range, who has the largest?
No, what percent? Yeah, who has the largest? Let's try it this way. Who has the largest? What is the percentage?
What category of real estate is the largest in that
Detached.
age range?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to give it to you. It's detached, but what's the number?
Really? I would never have guessed that.
Yeah.
From 22 to 29,
Yeah.
it's
detached, but
single family detached.
But what number though?
I mean, I got to think it's a pretty even spread. I mean, the first place I bought when I was 24 was a condo at the Villas at Southern Ridge.
81%.
What? That I would never have gotten that.
30 to 39 is 90.
Okay, can I say something?
Sure.
For the 22 to 29-year-old that is living in Charles-Fort Albemarle County, there's no way the 22 or 29-year-old is buying a single-family detached.
Except at Lake Monticello.
And well, I'd say Charles-Fort Albemarle County. That's
Got it,
Fluvanna.
got it.
Yeah. Do you agree with that?
Am I supposed to pay attention to you?
Well, do you agree, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So you in our marketplace. So this is national numbers.
Okay. In our market's condo. It's got to be.
Or townhomes.
Or townhomes.
And in that price point, correct. But I thought this was interesting because everybody, and again, this is 2 years back, so COVID is not impacting this at all at the estate or at the moment. But the reality of it is that millennial buyer nationally has been moving out of the metro areas. So I think you're going to see COVID pushing it a little bit more. I mean, Patsy can tell you this. I didn't look at it this morning, but I don't think there's 20 houses for sale at Lake Monticello.
Oof.
Maybe
4,300 homes?
Yeah, I didn't check the data, and if Patsy or Yonna are in front of a computer, they can go ahead and double check.
Is it 4,300 homes there?
42 and change.
Okay, so we'll call it 4,200 homes. And you're thinking there's...
It's between 20 and 30. I don't think it's over 30 units.
Good night. That's half a percentage point.
Correct. It's less than half a percentage point. Yeah. So,
I mean, that basically says Lake Monticello, Lake Monticello, Lake Monticello. If you have any interest in selling a home, do it now. Do it now. You're going to get top dollar. Do it now. This is historically unique time.
Well, I won't say the individual property, but we were able to put a house that was, on the middle price range within hours on the market.
Middle price range within hours. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Good for you.
Not on the upper end, but not on the lower end.
Sure.
Somewhere
Price
in the
right.
Yeah. Oh, correct. Yeah. So great thing. Thank you. We got to stop finishing each other's sentences. So let's talk. If you could put slide 6 on, please.
I like slides.
I know you like slides.
Yeah. You do too.
Well, it keeps a guy like me focused.
And it's easy for people to
Yeah,
see it on screen.
Yeah. So I apologize on the NAR slides. We'll get them a little bit better on that. I have too much respect for my friend Judah to hit him with. I think I hit him with 8 slides.
You did this morning.
Yeah.
But he responded well. Look, he doesn't mind.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. There
Oh,
you
so
go.
I can double him, huh? So this is an important slide.
For every slide you don't use.
Oh, jeez. Okay. How much time we got left?
Plenty.
Okay.
For you, as much as you need.
Oh, jeez. I sell for a living. Come on.
No, I truly mean that. What do you got here?
Yeah,
Put it on screen, Jay.
Yeah. Please, thank you, Judah. So even though the market is a seller's market at certain price points, it is really important to price it right, because if you can take a look at this, and this is literally from National Association of Realtors. They have a product called Moving Stats.
Put that slide back up so we can. Oh, it is? Okay, sorry. We have, for folks that know, what you're seeing and what we see here, we have about a 5-second delay with what shows up here versus what people are seeing. But the game plan with this screen is to allow the distinguished gentleman to essentially be a teacher in a classroom while we're all watching him present a PowerPoint.
There you go.
So go ahead, teacher.
Go ahead. Oh, jeez.
You could even stand up if you'd like and move the mic over there.
No, I get a pointer.
That would be nice.
But I could get a ruler, smack you on the thing. And you
That was like Walsingham Academy. Sisters of Mercy.
Did
they
they actually-
show no mercy.
Did
to
they
me.
actually do that?
Oh, my God.
What year was that?
That was, I started and I have nothing but positive things to say
Sure.
about Walsingham Academy.
Sure.
But it was the Sisters of Mercy. It was a Catholic
Sure.
school. It was nuns.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And I started there in 4th grade.
Uh-huh.
And as you probably were, I mean, let's cut to the chase. We're both ADHD. And it's much easier to control ADHD when you're an adult as opposed to a 10-year-old. Right? Remember when you were 10 and you were like, I mean, I couldn't sit in a seat.
So you and I are far too much alike.
Very similar.
I've got attention deficit syndrome, plus I'm dyslexic. So everything that I'm looking at here is backwards. which some people who know me go, that makes a lot of sense.
You manage it well. But you remember when you couldn't sit in a seat?
Oh, yeah.
And they come around, they whack you.
Yeah. They didn't whack you enough, apparently.
No, did you get whacked?
Could be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right.
So the reason why it's important, if you take a look at that slide, when to go back to how we started the show off, why you need a trusted advisor, why you need one of these real estate agents that are watching here, why do you need to use folks like Yonna and I, is to price it competitively. Part of the reason why we were able to flip this particular house, so flip is the wrong choice of words, we were able to sell this house pretty quickly, is we hit right at market value. And we end up, I think we actually were just a tad under, not 10%, but just a percentage point or two under market value, and get many more eyeballs, get many more interests on it, and it moved pretty quickly. When you start getting up above, 30% over, 75% over, those kind of different things, is when it starts slowing down, right? So, you want to be kind of at market value, a little bit under market value, to go ahead and get your eyeballs on it. But it increases pretty drastically if you do that. And this is not me, this is NAR.
Sure.
Right? But I'm just telling you, if you price it right, we talk about this all the time, right? Location, price, features, and conditions.
Sure.
So the location, you can't do too much about. It is what it is. Features and conditions, you can do something about, and the price you can do. And if you price it right, in today's marketplace, it'll move quickly. If you overprice it, there's nothing. When you start looking at these different markets, when you have like 22 days on market, 30 days on market, those kind of median averages days, when a house is on the market for like 60 days,
that's concerning. That's a price or a condition or a look.
Or a seller that may have an unrealistic expectation of value, and that's when we teach, and that's what folks watching this can teach. Okay, Jerry, we need to lower it down.
How often do they listen?
Regularly, they do. Yeah. Regularly. I can only speak for Yonna and I. Very rarely, we won't be able to teach a client they also may not be able to go there, right? Right, they may owe more than what the market's prepared to pay, that kind of stuff on that stuff. But, today was, I kind of wanted to delve into some, just you and I stuff and chit-chat a little bit about it.
This is a good comment from Yonna.
Uh-oh.
The best way to fight off inflation is buying your own home.
So we are all, I'm thumbing around.
Another great way to fight off inflation, and what I'm doing is buying gold ETFs to fight off inflation. But she's exactly right. Buying a home also helps fight inflation.
So Yonna and I did not talk before this show, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Slide number 5.
Look at
that,
him.
huh?
God, that
Look
is
at
called
this.
chemistry. Can we go to the Judah camera for that? Look, he's cheesing right there. Let's give Judah some props on the mic over here.
I looked through the slides before the show.
In other words, you do your job.
When I heard gold and worth and all that stuff, I figured.
But he finished his sentence. Yeah.
This is just getting really weird.
There it is right there.
So, this is our Gallup poll.
Let's put that back up. See, Judah, you see that? Since working here, you're in all 4 of those categories, my friend.
Oh, you're talking about stock, savings, and gold?
Yeah.
Diversification. Yeah, sure.
That's what we're doing here as a team.
But the best way to build generational wealth is to own property.
Oh, totally.
And, when 35% considered a long-term investment, it just makes all kinds of sense to do that. Any comments on the feed that we need to go over?
Yeah. So Roxanne Carter-Johnson, welcome to the program. Charles Schoolcraft, Connor Lilly, hello. Neil Sam, Andy Thacker, hello. Logan Foster, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. We need to figure this out.
Uh-oh.
And this is what folks are saying. We got buyers. We got cheap money.
Yeah.
We got a market that historically is strong and will drive return on investment if you make a purchase.
Unbelievable.
Right? More so than the national average. A market that can withstand recessions more so than nationally because of all the talent and the university here. We just don't got any product.
We don't. And I thought I had a slide that talks about appreciation, and I may not have it with me today. So I think the question you're asking is how do we loosen up inventory?
It seems like this is like from just a guy who does advertising. This screams campaign of why you should sell your home.
That's kind of what I was hoping to do today.
We are. Yeah. And I think, as long as this is being done, hopefully the market can be influenced.
Well, so to play devil's advocate, you say this all the time.
I love it.
Devil's advocate for the sake of a show.
Sure.
Part of the other component
Uh-huh.
that we need to figure out is, okay, where are you going to go? I'm going to sell your house. Where are you going to go?
Where are you going to move to? Well, that's the inventory piece. If we had more inventory, then the folks that are either climbing up or climbing down the ladder, depending on their circumstances, will have options.
Well, like I said, Dr. Yoon and all these chief economists are way smarter than I'll ever be. But there's a kind of a balance here we're trying to get to.
Sure.
And at the moment, it's a little bit upside down, but we don't want it to go the other way either, right? So you kind of, and I think this is what the Fed's trying to do, and trying, as Patsy said, trying to steer the economy in such a way that we don't have these huge swings back and forth. I know the regulators are doing that from a loan perspective by what we talked about with the appraisal end of the component. But so one of the things that I don't think we've talked quite a bit, we talked about last week, I believe. There's two affordability conversations that we need to have.
Uh-huh.
There's the affordability index, and then there's affordable housing. So that's both have the word affordable in it. So let's just talk a little bit about the affordability index, and you know what slide that is, right?
I can find it.
Seven. So what this slide basically shows is in the years between 1980 up to 2008, this is just a matrix that they use. It kind of was hovering somewhere around 130, right? We're now at 172. And the reason it's affordable is, in our current world, is because of the 3% mortgage.
Sure.
So if Patsy is right, and this stays on, most people, when they buy a house, not most people, not everybody, but some people, for a good percentage of people, they try to figure out how much house they can buy for their month.
Of course.
Right, how much monthly.
They stretch.
So if I got a monthly payment of $1,500, I want to hit $1,500, how much house can I buy? And we know it's somewhere around $225, $250, depending on where you're at. And
Credit score. What you put down.
HOA, no HOA.
Yeah, condition of the house.
Those kind of things on that. So, it's important and it skyrocketed, in the middle of the depression, real estate depression, up to almost 200, which is just a matrix that they're using. So homes are, as far as affordable index, you can buy more house for your monthly payment. On the flip side,
there's no inventory.
Well,
and if there's no inventory, it's driving up the price.
It's driving up the price.
And if it's driving up the price, it makes it not affordable.
And that increases our affordable housing crisis
right.
that we have.
Yeah.
So this is really high level stuff.
Yeah.
And very complicated. And at certain levels, I wasn't sure how to actually tackle this and make it approachable.
I think you just did.
Well, I hope I
mean,
did.
it's a unique spot. And I threw this to you on Monday. Beth, Marcus, we love you. Welcome to the show. Matt Nish, your buddy's watching.
Hey, Matt.
Johnny, hello.
Hey,
we
Johnny.
love you, Johnny.
And
Christy's watching the show.
Yeah, so Johnny, we next on Tuesday, I want to throw up his logo, what they're doing out there in Zion's Crossroads. We walked through the property yesterday afternoon, and Chris Henry's part of that. His team, and
we saw the photos he posted online. You guys are making tremendous progress, Johnny. Congratulations. Would love to do that. John Neal, the commercial realtor's watching. Ike Allen, hello. So we were talking about on this show this crunch. And you're talking about how things potentially are not getting more affordable, okay? So I think, and you've educated so many folks on this program, you're going to see a boom in all the areas surrounding Charlottesville and Albemarle and on the other side of the mountain. As those start to boom, and they're booming now, how is that, do you think, going to impact Charlottesville and Albemarle?
My personal opinion is I think that the pent-up demand is so much that, kind of what Patsy's saying with the 3%, I just, there's always going to be buyers that wants to be in it. And as we talked about earlier, you got the 5% urban ring around Charlottesville. They're not growing that.
Right.
So it's a rubber band that's just, going to be stretching back and forth on that stuff. There's always going to be enough buyers to come in there to do it. Now, to be honest with you, is going to be a diversification of buyers. That's more concerning to me.
What do you mean by that?
Not everybody looking like you and me, right? So I think because as prices go up, it may push out certain buyer profile out there. I mean, it's a horrible thing to say.
Well, no, it's just reality.
But and that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about the land trust and the regional housing partnership. And we talked about this initiative that this rent
relief, mortgage relief.
Thank you. Which brings up, I think, in August, I want to kind of focus the show just on the land trust. People need to kind of understand what the options are out there, and frankly,
you want some attention for the land trust.
We need to raise some capital.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got to find some affordable land.
Well, we're fortunate. Thank you to Chris Henry and his team. We're under contract for some really super cool land that they're literally giving away.
Where's that?
10th and Page,
yeah,
right next to Dairy Central.
Nice.
And then one on.
Have we talked about this?
We have not.
What?
I probably forgot.
Should we talk about this?
We should talk about this.
Chris Henry, love you, Chris Henry. Someone tag Chris Henry on the show. You know what? I'm going to tag him on the show.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Chris Henry some love.
They absolutely, hand down, always are doing the right thing. But unfortunately, they're doing some great. They're making this super easy from their side of it. But we need capital to go vertical and so forth and so on. They obviously can't help us with that. So we're going to actually do a fundraising campaign trying to raise that. But we have the ability.
There's a lot of campaigns going on now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Have you noticed?
I noticed that, yeah.
Did you see yesterday that UVA athletic department launched their own GoFundMe?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see that, but I was in tears when Bo was talking from
Little John's.
Yeah.
So after that show, your brother-in-law sent me, and he's watching, loves some James Watson on the program, sent me a link, and we're both diehard sports fans, UVA. The UVA athletic department, and we'll talk about this on the show we do at 12:30. UVA athletic department launched a GoFundMe, Keith. Basically a GoFundMe.
I don't understand that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
You don't understand it. Why? Because the endowment has billions with a B in it?
I don't understand it, but I'm sure somebody has to do it.
It's nuts.
What is it going to fund?
It's going to fund, I think the number was 750 student athletes that rely on the revenue coming through the athletic department for their scholarships.
Sure.
And because there's no revenue, in particular, we know football's the behemoth.
Sure.
Because there's no revenue, the 750 scholarships, I don't want to say are in jeopardy, but the cash flow is not there like they were budgeting.
Yeah. I have a little bit of an experience with that. As you know, our youngest daughter is a former Division I
swimmer
athlete, and so unfortunately, swimming is not a revenue-producing sport.
Right.
So
it's funded by football and basketball.
No, it's funded by the mother and fathers.
Private donations?
No, by the parents.
Yeah, private donations?
Yeah, she a little loving on her. She was the first high school student in the history of Virginia to qualify, compete, and medal in both the sprinting of 50 sprint and diving together. Nice. Right? $1,000 a year I got from the university.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
And were you like, dude, she's a rock star?
I was under the assumption Title IX also meant money. It does not.
What is it? It just meant you have a chance to get on a team?
No, exactly right. So every male, there has to be a female.
Female on a team?
That's it. Well, in the whole program, right?
But it doesn't mean equivalency on scholarship money?
It does not. That was a rude awakening. So, that was Yonna out of Yonna and I's pocket to get her through a master's degree, which we were
your parents, of course.
We were fortunate enough to be able to do.
Kelly Tripp, Ashley Journey, Bob Shada, hello. Welcome to the broadcast. effortless working alongside you.
Oh, I had a lot of fun. I
No
always do.
guests, shooting the you-know-what over coffee
Yeah,
for an hour and change?
Shooting the BS.
Yeah.
I like it. So I think what time have we got here? Oh, we're over. I'm sorry.
It's easy, right?
It is, my God. So we're going to close out with a little video I created pricing your house to sell,
Nice.
right? But before I do that, I don't think I've asked you, how you doing, man?
Doing well.
Yeah, business good?
Humming. Thank you, and praise God.
Good for you.
Humming.
Good for you.
Thank you very much. Fortunate, good team, good people alongside us.
You're fortunate.
Family's good.
Cool.
I'm also of that mentality, which I know you share this mentality. You go in, and if you start the day with the right frame of mind,
There you go.
things are going to work out. I'm not saying every time, but if you go in with that right positive mindset, it's amazing how positive things happen.
You know,
Have you noticed?
it's kind of, but that's a jarhead thing. That's a Marine Corps thing, right? You know, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. You know, Yonna and I start our morning off with a walk every morning because we know pretty much when that's finished.
You're not going to see each other till the end of the day.
Well, we see each other, but it's just we're doing our thing, and we're trying to help people. We're trying to teach, and we love I honestly love everything that we do every day. I
feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so blessed that I wake up and do what I love every day.
You know what you guys can do? A wise person told me,
Uh-oh.
a very wise person told me
Are we out of time?
that
We're
there's
out
a
of time.
phenomenal market for sellers, in particular at Lake Monticello.
There is.
And I happen to know a fabulous couple who lives at Lake Monticello who could get top dollar for their home during this period.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's wrap up.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you always put me on the spot.
We'll leave it at that. My friend, anything we're missing? How about a final word for everybody?
Yeah, you know, as we always say, let's be kind to one another. Let's be understanding. You know, we're talking about a hot market and people buying and selling houses, but there's a lot of folks out there that need help, right? The difference between the folks that are doing well and the folks that aren't doing well is there, right?
There's a delta.
So, you know, go out and help somebody. If you're in a position to do it, please do it. And trust me, if you do it, on the way over here, I bought a guy a cup of coffee. If you do it and don't expect anything back, it's amazing what it does to your heart.
If you give more than you take, it's amazing what happens.
Just-
Yonna says, thank you, Jerry Miller.
Yeah, we talked. Actually, when I ran out the door this morning, I forgot to do this. Thank you, Shotzi. She said to say thank you to Jerry today. So thank you, Jerry.
How about your boy Joseph Gentile watching in Long Island?
Hey, Joe.
Joe's watching right now.
We got to get you on, man.
Yeah.
Chime in there. How's he doing?
Yeah, Joe Gentile. ¿Qué pasa, chico? ¿Cómo estás? You're in Long Island right now in that fabulous basement studio. Is that right?
Long Island.
Long Island.
Long
He
Island.
is the Joe Gentile is a phenomenally dressed human being. Joe Gentile has got a flair for good clothes.
We seem to bring a bunch of those folks.
I've
on.
noticed. You had Nice on here.
I did. But Joe's an outstanding individual. I love him to death, and anytime I get an opportunity to talk to him, and what Pearl does, by the way, is freaking awesome, right? And you know, again, we're talking about sales, and even though it's a seller's market, you know, when you take just a simple thing, we just did this on one of the homes we sold the other day. You get 5% more. I'm telling you, it happens.
You're saying when you Pearl certified.
When you do Pearl certification, you get 5 extra percentage. So, you know, it's well worth it for a few, $400 or $500, whatever it is. Well,
One
worth
of a phenomenally Pearl certified home before we go is in Prophet Ridge.
it is.
Dominion Custom Homes,
That's
custom home builder John Kerber.
That's exactly
His
right.
home, platinum.
It's platinum. You don't see many of them.
Right, that's right. You never see platinum, right?
No.
Well, you do, but not rarely.
Very rarely. That's a rare thing, and it is very much so worth every penny that you get when you do a platinum on it. So it's a gorgeous home.
On the market now.
It is on the market, absolutely.
Yeah. Should we play your fabulous video?
Play the fabulous video, and I need to go do a board meeting.
Judah Wickhauer, you got that video ready to go?
Thank you, everybody, for your time.
He's the distinguished gentleman. He's back on Friday
Well-
at 10:15 a.m.
What is today? Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday. Are you here Friday?
I think I am, yeah.
Okay, go.
Are you double checking?
I was. You know why?
I had a hard time figuring out what today was.
Right, I see that. That's why I asked you. Judah, my friend, get that video on 3.
It's an age thing.
3, 2, and 1.